Okay, so fun fact. I did about an 11.5 minute recording of what you are about to see, and apparently, despite my microphone being on, it somehow wasn't connected. So, all of that was for nothing. So, here is take 2 of what is supposed to be a genuine return video with explaining why I took the hiatus I did. So, my apologies if I come off as a bit annoyed right now because I was diving deep into my feels, and for all of that to not be on camera is kind of annoying. So there is probably a small portion of you who have been keeping up with the channel that are potentially wondering. I should probably turn my mic down a little bit. Just gonna fix that a little bit. There may be some of you that are wondering where I have been or why I went on the hiatus that I did, which that is all going to be explained in this video. There are a multitude of reasons why I decided to take a break from making YouTube videos for a little bit. The first one being with the semester at the point that it was at. I had a lot of final projects that I was needing to work on, exams I needed to study and prep for, and classes that I was genuinely just needing to start attending again rather than playing video games. So I was trying to focus on finishing all of that before I went back to making YouTube videos. The second reason being right before Thanksgiving, so like right before I put out that notice on the community tab in my channel, I had talked with my mom, and she was needing to go back to the hospital, or I guess go into the hospital to have surgery done on her foot because she's been having this reoccurring issue since I've been in probably like 4th, 5th, or 6th grade. And for any context to you guys, I'm turning 20 next month, which, ew, but that kind of is meant to give you a time frame of how long she's been having to deal with this. So roughly like a decade of on and off foot problems. It's been the same issue each time. So me and my mom had that conversation. She was going into the hospital like right after Thanksgiving, but we had this conversation beforehand. So when the semester let up for everyone to go back home for like a week or a few days during Thanksgiving break, I was taking care of the cats back at my mom's house, Monty and Frankie. I don't know if you guys remember them, but they're still adorable as always. And then the goal was to help take care of my mom a little bit once she got back and was recovering, because since she was getting surgery on her foot, she wasn't going to be able to get around as easily, which she already kind of struggled with beforehand because she has really bad arthritis. It's sometimes a struggle for her, especially if she has like weaker or bad days physically. So I knew that was going to be something she would need some help with. But one of the main reasons I decided to take a hiatus was because of news I received while my mom was in the hospital. So to kind of tell that story, I kind of need to start when my mom went into the hospital. So the day before she was meant to get this surgery, she went in for an angiogram for around the area of where they were going to be operating on, because they were worried about the blood flow around the area and how that would help or hurt the healing process when she was out of surgery. So they wanted her to have the best chance at like healing properly, so that whatever was causing this like infection and this necessity for surgery, now that I can finally speak, they wanted to help the blood flow. So she went in for an angiogram, and the morning of her angiogram, me and my grandma met at the hospital, my grandma being my mom's mom, and she goes in for her angiogram. Me and my grandma are waiting in the hospital room. She's on her phone, I'm on mine. I'm playing Retro Bowl. I'm in my second year, about to try and win a Retro Bowl. I was dealing. And I get a phone call from no caller ID. So this is like it's not that I didn't recognize the phone number. No phone number was presented to me. And I thought maybe it was a spam call or a prank call, so I accepted it, put it on speaker, but put myself on mute, and just figured, it would play an automated message of some sort, and I'd go on with my day. But then it's a man on the other end, just saying hello, 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 and then he hangs up and immediately calls right back, which I thought was weird because usually spam callers don't try and call back right away. So this time I answer and don't put myself on mute, and I, answer the phone. The man on the other end asked if he was talking to Nick. I said he was. And then just for reference, I'm not going to be saying details of like cities or anything like that, so I'm just going to go forward with that being known. The man on the other end of the phone, if that was English, was on the other end of the phone was a police officer and was calling me to notify me that morning they had found my father in his apartment and he had passed away. Which was a very shocking call, as you can probably expect someone to receive that type of news. And when I heard those words, I kind of entered a small state of shock. And my grandma, who was hearing all this with me, I remember the color draining from her face when she heard that. And I initially wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go talk to the police officer because he was at my father's apartment, because I was trying to wait for my mom to get out of her angiogram, and I didn't want to tip her off because I didn't want her to have to worry about me while she was having to get ready for surgery. So she ended up not finding out until about a week after I did, which sounds really shitty of me, but at the same time, I was going to wait to tell her until she got back home, so she was in a place where she was comfortable and familiar, and she had, the cats and a couch and a bed that she could, rest in and not have it be a hospital bed where she found out, but that ended up not being in my control after a bit. But that's besides the point. So after I get the phone call, I call my girlfriend, I call one of my best friends, I call a few more of my best friends after that, because a lot of them either knew my dad or just needed to know that I had found out this news and I was going to be in a weird state for a while. And ever since then, I've been communicating with my sister about afterlife plans, which me and my sister haven't talked in close to a decade, which that's a story for a different day. If you guys want story time on that one, I can tell it to you, but I'm not gonna give you those details in this one. So that was the main reason I didn't want to put out any content for a while, because there was one day when I got back home to my mom's while she was still in the hospital. This was before she knew. And prior to finding out about my dad, I was going to try and record some content at her house. But when I got back, I just was not in the right headspace to record content. I barely wanted to play video games. Even though I did a lot of it just to try and distract myself from the situation going on around me. And I knew that if I didn't put something out there to say no more videos for a while, I was gonna feel something in the back of my head telling me like I owe videos because I didn't say anything, so it would just be something out of nowhere. But mourning the loss of my dad was the biggest reason for making that decision. In all honesty, towards the end, me and my dad weren't on the greatest of terms. But I didn't hate the guy. I loved him with all of my heart, and that's one of the biggest things that I've been trying to work through, is just honestly a lot of guilt for how I was towards the end of his days, because there were a lot of interactions, in all honesty, I wish I could take back and redo, knowing what I know now. So I've been, trying to work through that. I've definitely had my down days. I've had days where I haven't gone outside and I've been in a state of depression and just really honestly struggled with a lot of it. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been rough. Especially when it comes to figuring out what kind of all to do with, his possessions, his plans, what he all wanted to do in the afterlife, because he didn't have any of it written down. He didn't have a will drafted, so this is all like a kind of guessing game for me at this point. But I think I've had enough time to process how I feel about it, to know that I'm in a healthy place to return to this, because I've been itching to try recording videos again, but I wanted the semester to be over, and I wanted it to be an area of time where I had spent enough time processing my emotions, but also had enough time to focus my energy into gaming, which despite my demeanor in this video, I do feel I'm ready to get back into doing. But that was the explanation for where I've been, for any of you that may have been wondering, which, again, out of the 900 that are subscribed, which I'm very thankful for, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's not an overwhelming amount of you that were too worried about where I was going, which I don't take personally, because I get it. This is a small YouTube channel. You guys have other things going on in your lives. It's not a big deal. But for those of you that were wondering, this was the explanation for you. Now, going to try and transition into a lighter topic. What are my plans for what I'm doing now that I'm back? Obviously, a lot of things have changed in my life, but hopefully not too many changes are planned for the channel. At least not negative changes. I don't plan on taking stuff away. However, I do plan on trying to add some things to the channel, which I do have on a list on my phone, so let me pull that up real quick. The big thing being, I plan on starting to stream on YouTube a little bit more. I'm gonna try and stream some different games. I'll try and stream some MLB The Show 23 grinding, but because of Set 6 coming out now and a lot of it just being packs and not much else, there might not be too much MLB The Show grinding after a while. In terms of MLB The Show content that will be here, it might be a little bit less Diamond Dynasty. Some franchise rebuilds, some trade simulations that come up after this point. This isn't my, personal creation, but doing kind of like what Shelfie does sometimes, where I would buy some packs of baseball cards, because I've gotten back into collecting and organizing baseball cards. Opening some of those packs and trying to assemble squads and taking them into ranked play might be something we do if you guys want to see that. In terms of what I've written down for streams, a lot of it would be like story-based games, so like games with a story. So some of them being going back and playing through Red Dead Redemption 2 again because I started that and never finished it. On the channel, I never finished GTA 5 story mode, and because they announced GTA 6 while I was gone, that might be something we do at some point to kind of gather hype around that as we look for it. What is it, 2025? That GTA 6 coming out? Let me double check that quick. 18-year-old hacker responsible for stealing and releasing dozens of clips of Grand Theft Auto 6 last year has been sentenced to life in hospital prison. What the fuck? Yes. Okay, so after that whole announcement, Rockstar has confirmed that GTA 6 release date is set for 2025. So we have a little over a year before we see GTA 6. So to gather some hype around that at some point, we might do periodic streams of GTA 5 gameplay. I said Red Dead Redemption 2. I have it, but I've never played through the first Spider-Man, and since the Spider-Man 2 game came out, and Miles Morales. So if you guys want to see some of that content, we'll have that. Battlefield Hardline. I played through that game a little bit in my own personal time, but that would be something I'm trying to like anchor myself on my chair, and I just kept slipping. So my apologies for like being a wave over here. And there's just some other video ideas, not including streams, that I would want to try and do on the channel, and especially for games that come out throughout the year. So those were my ideas. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. I am going to try streaming a little bit. I might even stream the day after this goes live. This is going to go live late on December 22nd, so there might be a midday stream for December 23rd. So if you guys are looking forward to that, let me know down in the comments section. But I am back. I do plan on recording some content now that I have some time on my hands. Work schedule might be another thing that comes up where when I do things might change a little bit, but the plans themselves have not changed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you guys are ready for the ride that we are going on. Besides MLB The Show grinding and some periodic story gaming streams or MLB The Show grinding streams, other things like that, comment down below what games you want to see me either play in videos or do live on stream. If you guys like the idea of me streaming on YouTube, I was going to maybe try and do Twitch, but because it's been so long since I've used Twitch for my own streams, and my audience over there is obviously very minimal because I haven't really used it in a long time. I feel like it would be more useful to me to stream on YouTube rather than try and bring the audience that's on YouTube over to Twitch. So hopefully you guys like that idea. Again, let me know in the comment section below. But I just wanted to make this video to explain where I've been, what I've been trying to work through, and why I felt it was necessary to stop content in order to do so properly so that I could make content again that would be beneficial and proper for you guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I'm happy to be back. Sucks that I had to go through the circumstances that I did, but we're here now, trying to work through it. I'm going to have some good days. I'm going to have some bad days. There might be days I stream where I'm just having a bad day, and I may just ask you guys, be like, hey, you know, I'm not having a great day. I might not be as talkative or anything like that. So I'll try and communicate with you guys as long as you guys try to communicate with me, especially in terms of what you guys want to see on the channel, because I want to bring you guys great content. That's, at the end of the day, that's all I've ever wanted to do, is bring you guys great content that you enjoy. So if you guys let me know what you want to see, I will do my best to bring it to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy to be back. Glad you're here with me. And this is Beast44 Gaming, signing out.